the NMR spectroscopy. This chapter comes under chemistry paper 2, organic fourth chapter, NMR spectroscopy. Then the introduction of this NMR spectroscopy is NMR means the nuclear magnetic resonance. In short, it is called as a NMR. Is a spectroscopy technique which is based on the absorption of electromagnetic radiation in the radio frequency region. The radio frequency region is from 400 to 900 megahertz by the nuclei of the atoms. The introduction about the NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, is a technique which is based on the absorption of electromagnetic radiation. The electromagnetic radiations are absorbed. These electromagnetic radiations are absorbed in the region, that is radio frequency region. The region is between 400 to 900 megahertz by nuclei of the atoms. Whatever the atoms are present in the nuclei, by these nuclei, the electromagnetic radiation, that is the radiation that is absorbed, that is radiation is absorbed in the region, that is radio frequency region from 400 to 900 megahertz. The proton nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy is one proton, that is H plus, that is hydrogen. The HNMR resonance spectroscopy is one of the most powerful tools for elucidating the number of hydrogen or proton in the compound. That is the NMR. In this NMR, the HNMR, C13 NMR, some types are coming. About the types we have to discuss later. But in the nuclear magnetic resonance, the PMR, that is proton nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, it is one of the most powerful tools for elucidating the number of hydrogen or proton in the compound. In a given compound, how many number of or H plus or protons or hydrogens present, how to elucidate or we have to calculate by the PNMR, that is proton nuclear magnetic resonance, and it is one of the most powerful tool to calculate how much H plus or proton or hydrogen present in the compound, and it is used to study a wide variety of nuclei. For example, the hydrogen nuclei and fluorine, that is F19, that is C13, and N15 and F19 and P31, that is H means hydrogen, N means nitrogen, F means fluorine, and C means carbon, and P means phosphorus, that is the atomic mass number. And it is used to study a wide variety of nuclei. About these nuclei, we have to study by using the proton nuclear magnetic resonance. This is about the introduction. Then what is the theory behind this NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance, is the spin quantum number. Already in your previous classes you studied about the spin quantum number. The spin is either plus half or minus half, and it is indicated by here is I. But normally we are studied by the symbol, that is S, but here the spin quantum number, that is denoted by the symbol I, is related to the atomic and mass number of the nucleus. The nucleus, the spin quantum number, that is I, is related to the atomic number and atomic mass number. And how it is related, we have to see by using this column. In that, the first column I is there, that is spin quantum number, and in the second column the atomic mass is there, and in the third column atomic number, and the examples in the last column. In first column, that is the spin quantum number, half integer, and atomic mass is odd, atomic number is also odd. Then example for this arrangement is hydrogen, that is half spin. And in the second column, half integer, that is plus half or minus half, then the atomic mass is also odd and the atomic number is even. If you take any example or atom, for example taken here is the carbon. In the carbon, the atomic mass, that is 13, that is odd, but atomic number of carbon is 6. Then the example is carbon. Then the next even, but atomic number is odd. Then the example is hydrogen, that is the atomic mass, it is 2. Then the atomic mass is also even and atomic number is also even. Then the example is carbon 12. And whatever the first one, atomic mass and atomic number both are odd, then it is NMR active. Atomic mass and atomic number both are odd, then these are the NMR active. Then the second one, atomic mass is odd but atomic number is even and it is also NMR active. But the third one, it is also the atomic mass is even and atomic number is odd and it is also NMR active. That NMR active means while using NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance, the molecule that will give the interaction. But the spin quantum number is 0, then the atomic mass is also even and atomic number is also even, then it is the NMR inactive or not NMR active. Then the next one is elements with either odd mass or odd atomic number have the property of nuclear spin. Whichever the element is taken, it has mass number is also odd and atomic number is also odd, then they have the property of nuclear spin. This is about the theory of the nuclear magnetic resonance. Then if an external field is applied from outside, if you supply the magnetic field to the molecule, then the number of possible orientations, that is calculated by the formula, that is 2I plus 1. I is spin quantum number. For example, if you take the hydrogen, this hydrogen has a spin quantum number, that is I is equal to half. And the possible orientation is, in the above formula we have to fill the value of I, that is 2 into 1 by 2 plus 1. 2 into 1 by 2 plus 1, the 2 get cancelled, that is 1 plus 1, that is gives 2. Then these two, it is not 2, the 2 gives either plus of or minus half. Already you have studied in your previous classes, the spin quantum number is either plus half or minus half. If the spin is in the clockwise direction, it is plus half. If the spin is in anti-clockwise direction, then it is minus half. Then when the external magnetic field is applied to the molecule, the number of possible orientations is calculated by the formula, that is 2I plus 1, and I is spin quantum number. Then if you take the hydrogen as an example, this hydrogen has a spin quantum number, that is half. Then put the value of I, that is half, in the above equation, that is 2I plus 1, and by solving this one we will get the value of 2, and this 2 is gives the spin of the hydrogen is either plus half or minus half. Then that is shown by the diagrammatically here. This is the diagrammatically shown, that is the when the I is half, then the spin is, that is minus half. I is equal to minus 1 by 2, that is half in the beta, and in lower state the spin I is equal to plus, that is indicated by the alpha, and it is when the field is the external field, that is B naught, is applied. Then this is about the theory of the NMR. Then the next, what is the principle behind the NMR? That is nuclear magnetic resonance. The theory behind the NMR comes from the spin of a nucleus, and it generates a magnetic field without an external applied magnetic field. The nuclear spins are random in direction. In this diagram, in the absence of external magnetic field, the nuclear spins are in random direction. The one nuclear spin shows in this direction, another one shows this direction, another one shows this direction, another one shows this direction. Then in the absence of external magnetic field, the spins of the nucleus or nuclear spins are in the random directions. But when these nuclear spins are placed in the external magnetic field, that is B naught, is present, the nuclei align themselves either with or against the field of the external magnet. What I am telling is the principle is the theory behind NMR, that is come from the spin of nucleus, and it generates a magnetic field. Without an external applied magnetic field, the nuclear spins are in random direction. In the above diagram, there is no external magnetic field, then all the nucleus are in random direction. The one shows in this direction, another shows this direction, another shows in this direction. Then in any direction, the spins of the nuclei is there. When these arrangement is placed in the external magnetic field, that is B naught, then the spins of the nuclei are aligned with or against the applied magnetic field, and this molecule shows in the upper direction and the external magnetic field is in upper direction, that is with. Then but in the bottom side, this is shows in the lower side, it is against the applied magnetic field. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಪಿನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಯಾವ್ದಾವ್ದೋ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗ ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಓರಿಯಂಟೇಶನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಪಿನ್ಗಳು ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ ದ ಅಬ್ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್. ಇಂಥ ಮಲ್ಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇ ನಾಟ್ ಒಳಗ ಇಟ್ರಿಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಡ್ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಸ್, ತಮ್ಮಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ತಾವ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಕಾವು. ಹೆಂಗ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಕಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಮಲ್ಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇರತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಕಾವು. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಮಲ್ಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಗಳು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಕಾವು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿ ನಾಟ್ is present, the nuclei align ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗೋದು, align themselves either with or against the field of the external magnet. This is about the principle of the NMR. Then the next, if an external magnetic field is applied, the energy transfer, that is E naught, to the molecule or nucleus of the molecule, the external magnetic field is applied, the energy transfer is indicated by a symbol that is delta E, is possible between the ground state to excited state. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಆ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಹೊಂದಿದಂತ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ, ಅಂತ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯಾವಾಗ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಒಳಗ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೊಳಗ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಗಕ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಕತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಕತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೆಡ್ state, and this is shown in diagram here. This is the upper energy level, that is lower energy level. When the magnetic field is applied, then the energy is transferred from the lower energy to higher energy, or lower energy to upper energy, or ground state to higher state. Then when the spin return to its ground state, whenever the magnetic field is applied, the energy is transferred from ground state to excited state. When the spins returns to, when the energy goes to excited state, it is no longer available in the excited state. Only 10 raised to minus 8 second it will be there in the excited state. After the 10 raised to minus 8 second, it will return to the ground state. When the spin returns to its ground state level, the absorbed radio frequency energy is emitted at the same frequency level. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಒಳಗಿದ್ದಂತ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೇಷನ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮೊದಲ ಎಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತತಿ. ಆ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಲಿನ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಕತ್ತದು. ಮ್ಯಾಲಿನ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆದಂತದ್ದು ಓನ್ಲಿ 10 raised to minus 8 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮ್ಯಾಲಿರ್ತದ. When the 10 raised to minus 8 second is completed, it will return back to the ground state. While coming return back to the ground state, then it emits the energy. That is, the radio frequency energy is emitted at the same frequency level. Other level ಒಳಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮೊದಲ ಮ್ಯಾಲ್ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕ ಎನರ್ಜಿಯನ್ನು ಎಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತತಿ. ಬಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಲ್ ಹೋದಂಥದ್ದು ಬಾಳತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಬರ್ತತಿ. When it returns to the ground state, it emits energy. This emitted radio frequency signal that gives the NMR spectrum of the concerned nucleus. ಯಾ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯಸ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸೈಟೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತತಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಪೀಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ತತಿ. ಆ ಪೀಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಪೀಕ್ ನಮಗ ತೋರಿಸ್ತದ. ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಕರಿತೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ NMR ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವಿಲ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಯು ನೋ ಇನ್ ದ ಲೇಟರ್. ದೆನ್ ದ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ NMR. The two common types of NMR spectroscopy are used to characterize organic structure. Organic structure ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ ನಾವು ಟೂ ಕಾಮನ್ NMR ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪಿ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಅವರು. ಯಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಈಸ್ HNMR, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ನ್ಯೂಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ರೆಸೊನೆನ್ಸ್. ದ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ H is called proton. The proton NMR, proton nuclear magnetic resonance, and it is used to determine the type and the number of H atoms in a molecule. ಯಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅದಾವು ಮತ್ತ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಅದಾವು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರ, ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಆ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ದ ನೀವು ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಯುಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಾಕತ್ತೀರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಆ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಎಲ್ಯುಸಿಡೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರ ನೀವು HNMR ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ H is there and how many number of H atoms are there in a molecule. That is calculated by using HNMR. And another one type is that is C13NMR. C means carbon, and it is used to determine the type of carbon atoms in the molecule. It is used to determine the type of carbon atoms in the molecule. ಯಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಅಟಮ್ ಐತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ C13NMR ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. The next one is NMR spectrum. If you plot the intensity versus frequency, then you will know that is peak, that is spectrum. Then you have to learn later. Then the schematic diagram of NMR setup. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು molecule NMR ತೆಗಿಯಾಕತ್ತೀರಿ. NMR ತೆಗಿಯಾಕತ್ತೀರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ how the structure is there, then how many the number of hydrogens and number of carbon atoms are there. We have to calculate or we have to find out by using this diagram setup. In that, the first one here is the external magnetic field, that is north and south electromagnets are applied, and there is a sample tube. Whatever is the yellow color is shown, that is in that we have to put the sample. Then that is sample tube is connected to the that is radio frequency generator. Then this box, that is it generates the radio frequency. Then the 400 to 900 radio frequency generated there you have to supply to the this sample tube, and this is next go to the detector and amplifier, and this detected and amplified the data is you have to read in the CRT, that is display. CRT, that is CRT, you have to know the meaning of CRT, that is display. Whatever the peaks shown by this inputted sample. We have to display in the, that is CRT. That is, this is the schematic diagram of NMR setup. Then with this, I stop the using PDF. Then I will share the another screen, that is then that is the nuclear shielding and de-shielding. Then this is important for your examination in 2018. This is also for 5 marks. Then that's why you have to listen carefully. Nuclear shielding and de-shielding. Before going to this one, you have to know the equivalent and non-equivalent protons. This one, equivalent and non-equivalent protons. What are equivalent and non-equivalent protons? Is in a given molecule, they give any molecule. In a given molecule, the protons with different environment absorb at different applied field strength, whereas the protons with identical environment absorb at the same field strength. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಆ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಇದ್ದಂತ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದ್ದುಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈಡ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾವ. ಬಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಮಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ ಒಳಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಒಂದ ತರ ಇದ್ದುಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಅವೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಕಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್, ಇನ್ ಎ ಗಿವನ್ molecule, the protons with different environments absorb at different field strengths, whereas the protons with identical environments absorb at the same field strength. Then the set of protons of identical environments are known as a equivalent protons. ಒಂದು ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತತಿ, ಆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಕಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದುಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೇವಕ್ಕ ಇಕ್ವಿಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವೈಲ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋನ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ನಾನ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಲೆಂಟ್. Then the number of signals in the PMR spectrum tells us how many kinds of protons are present. ಅಂದ್ರ ಆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಬರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಆ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಪ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಅದಾವು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕಂಡಿಡ್ಕೊಂತೀವಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ. ದೆನ್ ಈ ಇಕ್ವಿಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ನಾನ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವ್ ಹೆಂಗ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಇನ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ are you seeing? Are you seeing the screen or not? Tell me. What is there in screen? What is there in screen? Tell me. First example. That is Cl, CH2, CH2, Cl is there. Is it right? You have to, if you want to study the HNMR, you have to only consider or take the data of H only. Proton nuclear magnetic resonance you are studying, that's why you have to consider only the hydrogen. Then the first CH2 is attached to Cl. In the second, CH2 is also attached to Cl. The first carbon hydrogen is also attached to Cl, and the second carbon hydrogen is also attached to Cl. The both are same. Is it right? Both CH2 CH2 are in the same environment. Is it right or not? ಮೊದಲನೇ ಮೆಥಿಲಿನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರ Cl ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಐತಿ. ಎರಡನೇ ಮೆಥಿಲಿನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ CH2 ಇಸ್ ಮೆಥಿಲಿನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್. ಎರಡನೇ ಮೆಥಿಲಿನ್ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ Cl ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಐತಿ. ಅಂದ್ರ ಈ H2 ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಸೇಮ್ Cl ಗೆ C ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಐತಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ H2 ಏನಾಗೈತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಇದು C ಕ ಮತ್ತೆ Cl ಕ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಐತಿ. ಅಂದ್ರ ಇವು ಎರಡು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರ ಎರಡು ಸೈಡ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೊಂದಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿಬಹುದು, ಇಟ್ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್. ಈ H2 ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ H2 ಎರಡು ಅದಾವ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ H2 ಐತಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ H2 ಐತಿ. ಬಟ್ H2 ಎರಡು ಇದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಾಜು ಇದ್ದದ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಐತಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈ ಕಡೆನು Cl ಐತಿ, C ಐತಿ, ಈ ಕಡೆನು Cl ಐತಿ, C ಐತಿ. ಅದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ದೀಸ್ ಬೋತ್ H2 ಆರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್. And already I told you how many number of protons are there, that much signals are appear in the spectrum ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿನ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ one kind of proton ಅದರಿಂದ therefore the one proton magnetic resonance signal will appear. In the first example, that is Cl CH2 CH2 Cl is there, the both CH2 CH2 group are attached to the Cl Cl in both the sides, or the CH2 in the same environment. That's why named as a AA, same type. That's why only one kind of protons is there. Therefore, if only one kind of proton, then it gives the 1 PMR signal. Then goes through the second example. What is second example? Tell me. CS3 OCS3. That is the one CS3 group attached to O, and another one CS3 is also attached to O. The both hydrogens are in the same environment or in different environment. Same environment. That's why both the CS3 or hydrogen are only one kind of proton. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವು ಎರಡು ಒಂದ ತರ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವು ಎರಡು ಓಕ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸಿಮಿಟ್ರಿ ಐತಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿಬಹುದು, ಅವು ಎರಡು ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಒಂದ ತರ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ಅದಾವು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್. That's why they give 1 PMR signal. The number of protons gives the number of signals. If there is only one kind of protons, then they give 1 PMR signal. Then go to the third one. What is there? Reply me fast. CS3, CH2, Cl is there. But think on this one. The first CS3 is attached to Cl2. Is it right? First CH3 is attached to CH2, but second CH2 is attached to CH3 and also Cl. Then the first CH3 is one type of proton and the second CH2 is the second type of proton, because the first CH3 is attached to CH2Cl and second CH2 is attached to CH3Cl. That's why the first one is one type of proton and the second one is one type of proton. That's why the two kinds of protons are there. Therefore, if the two kinds of protons are available, then the two PMR signals will appear. Is it right? Are you understanding or not? Then go through the fourth one. Fourth one, CH3 CH Cl CH3. Is it right? Listen here. The first CH3 is attached to CHCl and the last CH3 is also attached to CHCl. Both first one and the third one are attached to the same group. That's why the first one and the third one are the same type. But second one, that is CHCl, is attached to ClCH3 and this side one CH3. That's why the second one is one different kind of proton, but first one and the third one is one kind of proton. That is the first one and third one, that is CH3 are one kind of proton, but the middle, that is CH, is attached to CH3Cl, but from starting it is attached to CH3. That's why it is two kinds of protons in this molecule. If the two kinds of protons are there, then it gives the two proton magnetic signals. Then go through the fifth one. In the fifth one, what is there? CH3 CH2 CH2Cl is there, but the first CH3 is attached to CH2CH2Cl. Then second one is attached to CH3CH2Cl, but third one is attached to CH3CH2Cl. That's why all the three are in different environment. That's why they are named as A, B, C. That's why the three kinds of protons are there. Then it is called as a 3 PMR signals. Then this molecule gives the three signals whatever I shown in the uh, previous slide. Three signals, that is up peak. In this molecule the three peaks will appear. Then in the last one, that is CS3 OCH2 CH3. That is the three kinds of protons are there. That is CH3O CH2 CH3. The first one CH3 is attached to OCH2 CH3, but second one CH2 is attached to CH3O CH3, but third one, that is CH3, is attached to CH3O CH2. That's why the all three are different kinds. That's why the three kinds of protons are there. Then it is it will give, this molecule gives the three PMR signals. The number of signals in a PMR spectrum provide the number of protons that molecule possesses. Then how many number of signals? ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ನಮಗ ಸಿಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. ಬಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಕತಿ ತಿಳಿದೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ ಅವ್ರು. Then further, the position of the signal reveals the actual protons. Then position, in which position the proton is there, then that reveals the actual proton. ಈ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಐತೆ, ಡಾಟಾ ಐತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಒಳಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇದ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನು. then we will let you know the later, that is whether the protons are aliphatic, aromatic, vinylic, acetalic or hydroxyl. ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟಾನ್ ಐತಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ. then I will stop at this stage. Then this much is only enough for today's class. Then tomorrow's class we have to discuss about the nuclear shielding and deshielding, because if I start the nuclear shielding and deshielding, only the 5 minutes is remaining. That 5 minutes is not enough to complete this concept. That's why I will continue in the tomorrow's class. Is there any doubts? Then little bit difficult to understand this concept because it is a spectroscopy concept. That's why whatever I teach it in the today's class, I will send the notes how to read it, and if you have any doubts, freely ask me in tomorrow's class. Is there any doubts? Is there any doubts? Is there any doubts? Then I will start. I will send the notes within 5 minutes. Then we write in separate book. Then read it. If you have any doubts or queries while reading, then note it, and you have to ask me tomorrow. Then we have to left one by one.